All right, everyone. I've got another side project on the skid steer, and this time we're going to be working on this hydraulic cylinder because it is leaking. So the other cylinder I actually had rebuilt, ended up getting a different one and having it resealed. By the end of it, it actually cost me around $730 to do that. So I'm going to try to take the cheap route and do this myself, because I don't think it's that hard and the kits were not that bad for price wise. So anyway, the first thing I need to do is get this off so we can get it open and take a look. As long as the chrome isn't bad on the ram, we should be good to go. So let's try to see if we can't get her off. No, it's not gonna work. One thing I want to stress, this is the first time I have done this myself, so if I'm screwing up, don't beat me up in the comments too much. Hey, that wasn't too terribly bad. That actually came off relatively simple. All right, so next thing, we're gonna get these 9/16 bolts out, get the pins out here, get these two hydraulic lines off, and get the same one off right here. So I'm gonna get that done real quick, and I'll get this back in the garage and we'll take a look, see what we got going on. All right, so I got this ram off, and I got it kind of set up to where I can capture most of the oil and not make a humongous mess. The first thing I need to do is get this end cap off right here so everything will fall out, and as soon as I do that, all this oil is gonna leak out. So that's why I have it set up the way it is. So I need to get the pipe wrench on it and finish getting it off. No. All right, everyone, so we got everything, well, we got the ram out of the cylinder. Looking at the chrome on this, it doesn't look bad at all, really, and I'm kind of glad I didn't have somebody replace this now. To get a new cylinder made up, it's going to be about $400, and so far this one's looking pretty good, so I think I'm going to reuse it. Obviously just clean it up. Next thing we need to do is get this bolt off the end, which for that I have a 28mm. Metric just seemed to fit a lot better than the standard socket would, so we'll go ahead and use that and get this thing off real quick and see what the inside of this housing really looks like. And as you can see, that wiper seal and everything else is trashed, so go ahead and get those taken out and see what everything else looks like. Alright, got the wiper seal out, and that was kind of a pain in the butt, so that came out like that. I kind of had to work it out with a bigger screwdriver and just kind of twist it up. Got this seal out, kind of taking them out and putting them in the orientation that they came out of, and so that's this one, the replacement seal with the wiper right there. Got the wiper seal here. Got some other ones as well. I'm not 100% sure on this, but this kit that I have came from HW. I forgot where this came from. But anyway, that's the seal kit I have for the 1835B, and I don't know if all these are going to be used or just some of them or what. But I'm trying to get this the main seal out right there, and I'm trying to just use a box blade to cut it and just rip it out because it's obviously trash. As you can see down there, I don't know if you can see very well, but it is not looking good. So we're gonna get that out of there and see what we can do. All right, friends, we are back with the rebuilding or the resealing of the 1835B loader lift ram. So we got everything apart. I kind of got this cleaned up some. But one thing I need to do is I want to touch up on the walls and the inside of this thing. So I don't know if you can really see it or not, but the walls on the cylinder, they look good. I don't see anything crazy going on, but I just want to touch them up with the brake hone or with the cylinder hone. And so what I've done is I basically took a hone that I had and attached this was actually a shifting rod to another outboard I used to have, so I'm glad I kept it around. So we're gonna use this to hone the cylinder out. I'm not gonna go crazy with it. I just want to touch the walls and call it good. A little bit of cutting fluid in there just to kind of lube it up. Not make a mess. So that actually worked out really well, better than I thought it would. Got some good scratches in there, and we're gonna get this thing cleaned up and get everything reassembled. All right, friends, got everything cleaned up. That looks pretty good. I got everything in here cleaned up, and I actually had to go back and do a little bit more honing, but I don't know if you can see it. There's a little bit of rust right there. I think I'm just gonna have to live with it for now, because I don't know how much I can take off with the hone before this would actually start leaking, having blow by, and you know, I don't want that. So we're gonna assemble the gland, assemble the piston. It's pretty simple, straightforward. This one goes on before around as so, and this one goes around that one. And then as for the gland, these two will go on the outside as such, so the orange one will go on top of the bigger O-ring. This guy is going to be the challenge, but I picked up some seal drivers or squeezers or whatever you want to call these on Amazon. I got the cheapy ones. They were like 15 bucks. So I saw these on another YouTuber's page and I was like, heck yeah, give those a shot. So I'm going to use these, and we're going to get everything installed and get this thing put back together. All right, as you can see, I am struggling with this hardcore. I'm gonna have to swap the battery and the camera out real quick, and I'll be right back with you. All right, friends, so I ended up getting this main seal in, and this lower seal in, and if you ever do this and you take it apart, just remember the orientation they go in. So that rubber seal goes in with this raised side down. I made sure to set them aside the way they came out so I didn't forget. So I got this other seal on the piston on. It's currently cooling down at the moment, because what I had to do was I had to take some old oil and just heat it up on this little propane stove enough to where it would make it a lot more malleable, and I can get it on and over that piston. So that actually worked out very well. I ended up putting this in there as well, because it's still really hot. and that actually helped that seal go in there a little bit better. So next thing is going to be this top seal, or the wiper anyway. We call this the debris wiper, and putting these two guys on as well. But I'm going to probably wait till that cools down some, and then I'm going to do it. This guy is on. I got that little O-ring in there, as you saw, and I got this other, I think this is a wear ring. I'm not 100% sure, but I got that on. Waiting for that to actually take a little bit better shape around that before we actually put it back in the barrel. So it's coming right along. All right, see you in a bit. All right, got everything cleaned up. Got the last of this put on, and it's still hot. And I'm still waiting for this to cool, or kind of cinch up a little bit, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and put it on anyway. So before we do anything else, we need to put some grease on it. I'm just using some engine assembly grease. I think people were using other types of greases, but whatever. It's just, honestly, it's what I got. Put a nice healthy dose on it. Yeah, there we go. Fantastic. All right, next we're going to put our piston back on and the bolt. So other people have been saying, you know, put Loctite on it and stuff like that. I think that's a good idea. So I'm just going to use just some medium blue thread locker. I don't think it needs anything crazy on it. This is a pretty big bolt, so I'm like, I don't want to put any red stuff on there. And for this one, is it a 28 millimeters? What I got it out to. I don't have anything that I had standard didn't fit as well, but this 28 millimeter actually did fit pretty well. So it's probably going to be good. Oh, holy crap, that thing's stiff now. All right, that went on pretty well. Just got to get it to those holes lined up from where it was and put our screw in, and then we'll take it back out to the machine and install it. All right, friends, so it's actually been a few weeks since I messed with this, and I got the ram back on, I got it hooked up, and I got it operating correctly. Obviously, it was just a matter of putting it on in the reverse order. I took it off. So far, I've had no leaks as of yet. So I can get in here and show you that it does indeed work, and it's indeed sealing.